Hi everyone, it's Rachel in Big Bear. You have probably noticed the great prices on some of these original cabins up here in Big Bear that sit on government leased land or the National Forest. They catch your eye right away because compared to a typical single family home, they look incredibly affordable. They're rustic, they've got history, and the sticker price is so tempting. It almost feels like you've stumbled across a secret deal that nobody knows about. But before you let that excitement take over, there's something really important you need to know. These aren't like regular homes. They're part of a program where you don't actually own the land. Instead, you're leasing it from the U.S. Forest Service or another government agency. That lease comes with very strict rules. One of the biggest rules is this: you cannot rent these cabins out. Not on Airbnb, not as a long-term rental, not even as a seasonal lease. They're designed strictly for personal second home use too. The government set it up this way because these are meant to be recreational cabins, not income properties. So if your plan is to cover your costs by renting the place out, these will not work. You'll find yourself stuck with a property that can't legally generate any income at all. On top of that, there's an annual lease fee. Most of the time it runs between $1,500 and $2,500 a year. It's not outrageous, but it's an added cost you have to factor in. And here's another important detail. Because you don't own the land, you cannot get traditional financing on these. Banks won't write a 30-year mortgage for something sitting on government land. These have to be all cash purchases. That alone narrows down the pool of buyers, which can make them harder to resell later on. Now, don't get me wrong, for the right buyer, these cabins can be so wonderful. If you're someone who just wants a family getaway, a place to hike, fish, unplug, and enjoy the mountains, and you have a primary home somewhere else, a government leased cabin might be perfect for you. They give you access to incredible locations and a chance to own a piece of history for a fraction of the price of a typical home. And if you understand the rules going in, you'll probably love it. But if you're thinking of these as an investment, that's where people get into trouble. Real estate is powerful because it gives you flexibility. You can rent it, you can refinance, you can sell, you can change strategies as life changes. With government lease cabins, almost all of that flexibility is just taken. You can't rent it, you can't finance it, and you're committed to paying that annual land lease. If the day comes when you want to sell, you're only marketing to all cash buyers who are comfortable with the same restrictions as you were. That pool of buyers is smaller, which means resale can take longer and you may not see the appreciation you'd expect compared to traditional properties. So let's paint a picture. Imagine you've saved up and you're buying one of these charming old cabins. At first, it's great. You've got a little place in the woods, your family loves it, and you're happy, and you pay the land lease every year. But then your situation changes. Maybe you move out of state, maybe your job schedule shifts, or maybe you just can't get up to the cabin as often as you'd hope for. With the regular home, you could just pivot, rent it out part-time, turn it into a vacation rental, or lease it long-term. With a government lease cabin, you cannot do any of that. Your only choices are to keep paying the lease for a cabin you're not using, or try and sell it to another all-cash buyer, or carry the loan yourself. That's when the reality of those restrictions really hits, is when you go to sell. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying these cabins don't have value. For the right person, they're priceless. A personal retreat, a slice of mountain history, a place to make memories. But they are not investments in the traditional sense. They're not income producing. They don't offer financing options. And they come with rules that you have to follow to the T. This is why I always tell people, if you're considering one of these, make sure your expectations match the reality. If you want a cozy cabin for your family and you've got the cash to buy it outright and you're comfortable paying the land lease every year, then it can be an amazing choice. But if your plan depends on rental income, financing, flexibility, then it is not the property for you. So when you see these great prices, and they usually have a 3-digit address, take a deep breath, ask yourself, am I okay buying something that I can't rent, that has to be paid for in all cash, and that carries as an ongoing annual lease on land that I don't own? If the answer is yes, then by all means pursue it. If the answer is no, then trust me, don't buy these. What looks like a bargain can turn into a burden, and I don't want you to get stuck with something that doesn't fit your goals. This is Rachel Smith up in Big Bear, and I will talk to you soon.